So according to Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, last offseason, the Bengals were ready to trade away Trey Hendrickson for, take a moment, Grover Stewart, the Colts defensive tackle, 4th round pick in the 2017 NFL draft. Yes, he is older in age, but at the D tackle position, he's not the oldest. He is 32 years old though. But like he could probably still play at a high level until he's like 33, 34. Like he could still play another solid 2 years. And a high-end draft pick. So if we go through the article here, and again, this is coming in from Sports Illustrated, Albert Breer. Breer. They wanted Grover Stewart and a high-end draft pick. Presumably the latter is a 1st or 2nd round pick. Colts did not accept the Bengals offer, clearly, and it is what it is. Yeah, that would have been an interesting situation. I would assume that Lou Anarumo probably had something to do with that. Now, obviously, defense coordinator, you're not going to have full control of that, but most likely he probably gave his 2 cents on, hey, let's go out there, let's go ahead and get, Trey Hendrickson, bring him to the defense where the defense is already going to be, amazing. So, yeah, that would have been an interesting situation. Now, even though I don't like PFF anymore and I'm done with PFF after they trashed our offensive line after last night's performance. Yeah, what do you know? Last night's performance, really freaking good. But for some reason, PFF said they sucked, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, we had the best offensive line game in a very long time, and PFF's just like, everyone sucks. Anyway, 73.2 run defensive grade. 57.6 pass rusher. So according to PFF, he's more of a run stuffer than a pass rusher. Looking at his grades over the years. Let's take a look at that. So, my bad. Go down one slot. So this is his grade over the years. So definitely more significant in the run defense than the pass defense. So we really would have traded our star edge rusher, who we did win without last night. But our star edge rusher, we would have traded for a D tackle. Okay, who's a run stuffer. And again, they wanted a 1st or a 2nd round pick. So, would we have gotten enough value back, for this? Probably not. I don't think you would have been able to even come close to replace Trey Hendrickson value, with that, capital. Like that would not have worked out too well. And yeah, it would have been a absolute mess. I'm happy to have Trey Hendrickson. I'd rather have him than what is, Grover Stewart and a draft pick. So the Colts, if we would have gotten their 1st round pick, they didn't pick until the 14th pick. Okay, so it's actually not that bad, to be honest. The 14th pick is not a horrendous pick. Because we could have taken Jalen Walker. We would have had the 14th and we would have had the 17th. That would have been an interesting combo. I still want Trey Hendrickson, but that would have been an interesting combo to have those 2 picks. I mean, at that point, I feel like if you're the Bengals, you take Derek Harmon. The Steelers got him, but you take Derek Harmon and you probably take, I guess they probably would have still took Shamar Stewart. Let's be honest, that wouldn't have changed anything. I think, even when you look back, as long as we had the 17th overall pick, I think the Bengals are still taking Shamar Stewart. Maybe they take Shamar Stewart at 14, but they have 17 still. They'll probably just take him at 17. I would have loved Walter Nolan. Personally, I really wanted Walter Nolan. I also wanted Malachi Starks, though, so. Now, on a note of what us fans probably would want, we would probably say an offensive tackle or guard, like Tyler Booker from Texas A&M. Tyler Booker from, is he not from Bama? He is from Bama, yeah. So the Cowboys ended up taking him here. But Tyler Booker from Bama, that would probably be someone, but he was off the board at 12, so that wouldn't have helped. Who else? Gray Zabel wouldn't have been a bad option either. So, I mean, again, like I said, I'm just trying to look at it how the Bengals would have probably went with this. They probably would have still went with Shamar Stewart, but they might have went with, Walter Nolan or Derek Harmon at 14. So, would have been interesting. Again, I'd rather have Malachi Starks personally. If I had to choose the two players, it would have been at 14. I would have probably took... Okay, so Kenneth Grant's off the board. I probably would have took Walter Nolan, to be honest. At 14, I would have took Walter Nolan. And then at 17, love Shamar, I probably still would have taken Malachi Starks. I would have gotten a D tackle and I would have gotten a safety. Now, again, you do want to get an edge rusher if you're trading by Trey Hendrickson anyway. So maybe you still take Shamar Stewart. Who knows? But yeah, so interesting development. Listen, everything is a woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? So at the end of the day, didn't work out, didn't happen, and we are in the situation we're in where we still have Trey Hendrickson. And at the same time, I think we all kind of get the understanding here. Some people think that this will be Trey's last year with the Bengals. He'll hit free agency and he'll go get paid. I don't think that's a fact. I think what they're going to do with Trey is they're going to franchise tag him after this year, and they're going to keep him next year for, what, $35 million? Yeah, $35 million next year. So I think they're just going to franchise tag him next year for $35 million, and then they're going to keep trying to work something out, or maybe just keep franchise tagging him. So realistically speaking, you want to go to franchise tag Trey once, because after the second time, it's like $60 million, and that's just absurd. But still, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. See you guys next one.